blissful month to you. Welcome to Dawn on Vostv. My name is Omoyu Proud, and as usual, I'm with Benahi Onafe. Good morning. And we have a guest in the house today to talk about the poor airport management in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians have been clamoring, and a lot of nose dives on the internet, on the social media space as regards how they've been treated, especially when it regards to the airport management, flight bookings, and what have you, and airlines also contributing to the frustrations of Nigeria. Of course, we have enough on our plate. We have a public analyst in the house, in person of Mr. Tega. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you, viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, sir, being a public analyst, and okay, let me just start straight with this. A lot of Nigerians have been complaining. Like perhaps the complaint has been there, but others that are more personal has been overshadowing it as regards the management of the airport. Starting with the first thing is the public address system. Now, as a public analyst, and I know as a diplomat, you should be able to explain better how this thing should be put in place. Because I come across a lady that said a flight was actually announced and she didn't know. Not that she was gisting away, but she couldn't hear what the lady on the mic was saying.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me start like this. You see, when you talk about airports in any climate,
Okay.
it's a mirror through which the outside world views the country in which airport is. In the
Located.
sense that it's an airport, people move
In and out.
of it. So whatever information you get from your airport system speaks volume of how advanced you are.
Okay.
Having said that, I can hardly wrap my head around circumstances where things like gadgets in an airport system in a country supposedly the most populous black nation on earth doesn't work.
At all.
But we have to talk about just gadget not working. We are taking the problem at the surface.
Okay.
It has a root cause, and it all boils down to our approach to getting things done. I've always said you can't approach a matter better than you understand that matter. How you go about an issue is reflective of your understanding
That
of
issue.
that issue. You can't do better than you understand it.
Exactly.
So we are in a country where, I'm not sorry to say, we are mostly doing things from the skewed end, from the against end, where persons whom we know very well are not fit to manage certain things, are allowed to manage it because they belong to a particular
Class.
region,
Yes.
class, religion. We're talking about insecurity as well.
Exactly. Even the conveyor belt, missed luggages, and
We've heard of persons say that their luggages are missing. In the airport, where you have security, where you have security personnel action stationed to make sure things go right. We've also had incidences where security personnel are the culprits of missing luggages. What does that tell you? How we go about getting things done, getting it wrong. It's not all about what you get in terms of monetary value, what you get from what you're doing,
exactly.
but how much value are you giving to the persons to whom you are offering these services
These two.
to? It speaks more volume. You say, so we will look at it. I believe the federal government before now did some concession,
Yes.
because they were unable to manage the airport system on their own. So they allowed private companies to come. Fine. But if you look at the process of the concession, it was like in the local palace, you say, my friend, come and take business.
Exactly.
You know this guy cannot do this stuff, but because you think you owe him a favor,
Sentiment.
yeah, you want to use that to pay back. And that guy knows very well, I don't know this, but I have to get on you. So if you continue like that, I bet you will have more problems than you can handle.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
He said something about value, and most often than not, we always talk about how things are not going well, how things ought to be. But yes, there's the aviation authority in Nigeria. Yes, speaking of value, transparency, and all, there should be a body, which is this authority that we can hold and be like, because passengers have been crying out. We have persons that want to travel are crying out that certain things were not done according to how it ought to be should be done. So what's the job? Because I don't want to just say the job or the job responsibilities of this authority, but what do you feel they ought to do to tackle this reckless behavior, this reckless attitude towards passengers, the customer service, everything? What do you think they ought to do right now to curb such menace?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Going forward is that we have to, these are my opinions though, we
Yes.
have to reevaluate the processes in terms of how the airports are run, in terms of the management,
Mm.
in terms of personnel training and retraining. I believe in your studio here, the management takes the staff for training and retraining. So no one doubts why you guys are improving on a daily basis. It is applicable to us first. You can't have somebody who has been working in a particular place for close to, let's say, 10 years. He hasn't gone for any refresher course. He's not abreast with modern system to getting things done.
Mm.
And then you expect that person to perform very well.
That's right.
It can't work. And beyond that is that our security personnel that are being sent to manage airports in terms of security angle, I think most of them spend too much time within the airport's jurisdiction, thus believing that it is their entitlement to work within that place, whether or not they are getting the job done right. So, as a matter of fact, there should be a shift. There should be a shift. Nobody should be comfortable with a particular position, especially when you are working in a public corporation. It's not yours.
Definitely.
So there should be a shift. Then beyond that is that the Minister of Aviation, let me say the Ministry of Aviation, I can't really tell you the disciplines of the persons that are in charge. But I would want to suggest that if the persons that are in charge don't have a prior law in terms of airport aviation business, we should get experts.
Nigeria.
Now let me cast our minds back.
Okay.
Just recently I had the chairman of Airpeace, Alan Nima.
Yeah.
It was before the floor of the House of Rep. I was talking about the landing cost of aviation fuel. So the Deputy Speaker of House of Rep was like, what is the landing cost? Do you believe that NNPC, as it were, will not provide a detailed analysis of what it costs to land aviation fuel? So Mr. Alan Nima was of the opinion that the federal government should give the aviation industry rights to import fuel, aviation fuel.
Okay.
So, because he believes that if they can buy Airbuses that are worth no less than $100 million, more than 10 pieces for their businesses, they also can import aviation fuel. So, when he said that, I think he made a whole lot of sense there. Because you are not in the business, I am in the business, I know the no's, whatever.
The nooks and crannies here.
So, it would be better for me to be in charge of getting this aviation fuel to facilitate aviation industry in Nigeria. But if you look at NNPC, they tell you it is, they tell you it is. I'm not trying to say they're not doing the job. But what I'm trying to suggest is that what we are seeing as a reflection of the job they are doing does not go down well with us. And we want them to improve on it. That will go along with it.
Yes.
Yeah, that will go along with it.
And that actually brings me to you just spoke about an airline, Help Peace. And Eric and what have you, other airlines, no offense taken, a lot of Nigerians have actually complained of incompetency from most of these airlines. As regards cancel flight, you don't even get a heads up or prior notice that your flight has been postponed or cancelled. Sometimes you book a flight and you get there and like, you booked.
Yeah.
Network failure and all.
Yeah.
But I think most of these airlines owns Nigeria's apologies because they've actually created a lot of hard work with this your activity and nobody's really bringing them to book.
Very well. They owe Nigeria's apology. But
They don't apologize.
yeah,
That's the rule. Customer courtesy.
I'm coming there. In similar clients, when you fall below expectations, it is only normal, civil, when you tell the other party, please, I'm sorry.
Yeah, tender an apology.
Just as simple as that. But it's quite unfortunate that
They own it.
in this part of the world, they believe that they owe you no apology, and then it is their right, and they do things just the way they like. I've always said this. I am not convenient with us referring to a governor as Oga.
Exactly. He's a servant of the people.
Yeah, and more to that is that he's serving for at most 8 years.
And which is supposed to be 4.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give him a second tip.
Yeah.
Now, if I begin to relegate myself to licking somebody for a period of 8 years, and then when the person is off, will I still call him Oga?
Title will change.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is this. Our understanding in terms of the managers of the airport, what they believe is their job description is that. Let me come down to pitching knowledge. I need to boss you. Now come around. It doesn't work like
You
that.
can't flight, go by the road or train or get attacked.
That's the problem. Now, we're always talking about aviation. But I can assure you that you don't want to go by train.
Yes, the accident is always drastic.
You don't want to go by train. Now, fine, you don't want to go by train, right? Do you want to go by route?
It's like
Hand burglary
everyone now
attacks.
is so unsafe.
So, this is why I said, if you want to talk about airport problem, it does still into what the Nigerian problem is, which is what? One, we talk about security, yes.
Yes.
But trust breeds security.
Trust.
Yeah.
A whole lot of things revolves around trust.
Yes.
A whole lot of things. If I don't trust you, I ain't gonna give you business.
I'm gonna get involved with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna
No partnership.
So then at that point where there's not trust between the constituents of the Nigerian state,
Yes.
what it means is that there's going to be some form of organization. This region will be doing what it thinks is right, whether to the detriment of the other region or not its business, and this one, the same thing. So if the cisgender goes like that, what will become the fate of our country?
I want to even ask a question. I don't know, it might be controversial, but I'm sure in some Western countries they don't face. Yes, there's corruption. There are anomalies that take place in certain organizations and corporations and what have you. But at least the extent to which such plays out is not as cumbersome as what we're experiencing here. Is it safe to say it's a black mindset or an African mindset for us to be nonchalant towards, like, they can't differentiate business from service, like their normal business and their personal life, like attitude towards work, attitude towards this, how they ought to serve people, what they ought to do. So is it a black mindset, an African mindset, or a Nigerian mindset?
I think it's a human mindset. It's an individual thing.
You said
Yes, it's an individual thing because you see some black persons who work abroad with other white persons and they're very diligent in their work.
Okay.
So it's perhaps the environment you find yourself. If you're not being appreciated, you just do it the way you want and just get paid and go.
Even like persons at the helm of affairs.
Helm of affairs, like they will say, your oga is a boy to somebody. So that's where the corruption actually comes into.
Let me say something.
Okay.
If you were asking me if it's a black mindset or African thing
Or
or
a
Nigerian thing,
Nigerian
I don't believe either of these.
Okay.
I believe it's how you think. How you think.
Well, we see this play out in every sector.
Yeah.
Every
Now,
sector
okay.
in Nigeria.
Okay. For you to occupy highest in the land, you need a first living certificate
Yes.
or its equivalents.
Exactly.
Now, ask yourself, what does a first living certificate holder have
To offer.
to offer?
That's
Taking into cognizance the fact that he is to serve a multifaceted society in terms of religion, ethnicity, belief, just name them. And you want somebody who have a first living certificate equivalent to man such position. Fine. He will manage. Going forward, you begin to see things like a sinner. You begin to ask. Now tell yourself, in your secondary school, what did you learn that you can use to manage a country? What did you learn?
Level of education and exposure
Yes.
matters.
It counts. Now, looking at other world leaders, the American leaders, the Russian leaders, we have lawyers, professors, physicists, you name them,
Biologists.
and all them. But here, you want somebody who has just. Then tell me why the things will be working at work. I'm not going to mention names. I visited the Federal Government Hospital some years ago, and I met the boss.
Okay.
And then while we were discussing, a junior staffer came to lodge a complaint about a machine that was not working. What the boss said, it can't still go down well with you. Okay, he said, you know the problem, go, solve it, go.
Wow.
This is supposedly a general manager in a federal government establishment.
Perhaps, okay. I think I'll come in here. I'm not being defensive. Perhaps he knows you need a new machine. Let's say, for example, a printing machine. And you know, definitely you were supposed to, you've lodged your complaint to me. Maybe perhaps put it into writing.
Yeah.
Because I think that should be the first time that junior staff is actually coming to the boss to say, I think the printing machine, perhaps they've been managing, trying to curb the fault and everything. I'll be like, okay, I think now it's really gone bad totally.
As much as I would cave into what you said, but there are other angles to it. Now look at me now.
Yeah.
Who is a first-hand witness? My belief about that manager is that he doesn't know what he's doing. That is what I believe. Because you said you know it, go and do it. Meaning,
Get a new one. Put it into writing. Let us get a new one.
Because
Because you can't just virtually tell him, oh, we need a new printing machine, sir. Okay, now I am secretary or we are accountant, so yeah, let's roll out to the market to get a new
Sister,
one.
look at it. Now, even when these equipments are acquired, he tells you, as an engineer, supposedly a graduate of engineering, now you were supposed to make some little inputs. At least that will prove to your subordinates that, or that know what to do.
You have an insight into what's happening.
But even when they bring the equipment, he is like, it will work, right?
I think it's just.
No, I think that's.
Because it goes as far
Yes.
as the macro level because
Yes.
we have I'm not trying to be all defensive or you just saying this or that, but we have different. I don't want to just say the security sector, what have you, the airport, different places, different sectors are failing. They are
No,
failing.
but for this particular example, I think I have to go back in. Because you said the boss. He is the boss does not mean he should come down to every level to do everything. Most persons that you're also saying, some persons you have beneath you and you will tell them this is how this thing should be done. It will be like, I think you should cut me a slack and let me do my thing my way. Because you were employed to do a particular thing. So this person is going to give you the liberty to actually carry out your duties.
Look at it like this. A boss did not comment because he doesn't have the chance of logistics.
Not because he doesn't know that's a printing machine, for
Logistics
example.
took him away or something. Now, then a boss who couldn't comment on something simply because he doesn't know what to say about it.
Well, I think it's a very simple thing. It's not really much of a bad thing. Like, okay, this mock-up is broken, and I came to tell you as my boss.
If I call the name of the parastatal now, you will understand why you don't have light.
I think
Okay.
the issue is the clear-cut statement. This is what you should.
This is what you should do. It's like you're my boss, and this thing gets broken. I know definitely if it gets broken, Commonsensically, I should know that it has to be replaced. It's just for me to walk up to you like, boss, I think the markups we're using for don't broken. And you'll be like, okay, you know what to do, which is either put it to writing according to the rules of the organization so we could get new ones, or perhaps you, if it can be fixed, fix it, cost, say we cover it.
I'm not sure that's it.
You know, I'm just trying to, because everybody has a different view. So when it comes to electricity, okay, now it's electricity and it's said, but you said something in the office got
I
bad.
think it's just using that as a minute
I'm not trying to tell
example.
you. Listen, I'm not trying to create a circumstance for you.
But definitely as regards to electricity, something is wrong. Wrong, it's still the same thing that boils down to cost.
Why you now know why there's power outage.
Because it's not much, he's not really concerned about
The
it.
matter is that the persons in charge are not
Really
even-
competent.
What you're talking about in their business, what's the money? How much is involved? Let me have the money. That is what they're thinking about. Whether you do the thing or you don't do it. In their houses, they use either solar or generators. So when you tell them that the national grid is down, they don't even get what you are saying because it doesn't affect them.
Yeah, that boils down to the competency we'll be talking
Oh,
about.
So
Yes.
that's like, if you want to trash this issue of Nigeria's problem, we must sit down and look at it holistically. Now, we're talking only about the politics now, political perspective. There is the social perspective.
Okay.
There is the
Economical perspective.
economic, then religious. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
There are so many of them. And there is decadence in every of these facets.
Now, speaking of moral decadence, I'll take you to, I come across somebody at the Maritime Mohammed Airport in Lagos.
Okay?
So, and the person said he was just complaining. Free hair, if not free to hair. Anybody that hears me hear me. He was so bittered. Like he has to pay through his nose for the COVID test. I thought COVID is gradually going away. Phasing out, actually. And he said he has to pay through his nose to, not that the money is that big, but where does this money go
It
to?
just makes sense.
It doesn't.
Doesn't
It is vague.
COVID test is like 45, 50,000.
He said he paid almost, he said he paid over there, converting to Nigerian money is kind of big. The over there is a small amount. And it's on a window of 2 hours before your flight. And his flight was actually delayed, not like Nigeria. Those ones, they told him that it had to be delayed. And he has to pay an extra money. And when you're leaving, you also have to do another test. But the truth is, you even pay for the quarantine of that 14 days you're supposed to be away. But people now just come into the country after paying for that test. They just move about.
Now, look at this. I'm not sorry to tell you this. I've always had a different perspective to this
COVID.
COVID breakout. I don't think this is the best part to talk about my perspective of COVID. But on general surface is that
Should be scrapped.
somebody called me that I should find out how much for COVID is just last night.
You serious?
Last night. And then we're trying to get to the hospital through the customer care. Would you believe that they didn't pick customer care? What's customer care?
I know you're supposed to be there to talk to the people. You
That's by the way though. Now, and then I had somebody came from America some time ago and we had to go to this particular hospital COVID test. I was like, how much is it? He said, I don't want to know.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. I was like, for this stuff to just now
It's
beyond
funny.
That, you go to the airport. I remember some time ago, a lady came to Nigeria and he was harassed, according to her, by airport officials, security, in terms of payments for luggage and
Now they help you put your trolley. They not harass you. Madam, drop something by force.
Charge this woman to the tune of about 100 and something thousand. So the woman cried out for what? And she said she ain't going to pay that. That she has done all her documentations and everything is the way it should be. She's not going to pay nothing. So when she was making the noise, one of the senior officers called her to the side and I said, okay. According to her, she said 100,000 is too much. She could help him 50,000.
Corruption everywhere.
If that woman takes that thing that happened and goes back to her country and comes on air to say this is what happened to her in Nigeria, how would the international community look at us?
It's like Nigeria doesn't care that we're even a laughing stock right now.
Yes, that is.
I think some windows have been closed to us as regards visa.
Yeah.
You're granting of visas, especially in the UK for visit or anything, whatever you.
No, it is a common thing that we have relegated ourselves so much that even when we want to do our elections, the Western world are so powerful to tell our leaders that if there's any malpractice, they should forget about coming to the Western world. Now, imagine, look at it. I'm not saying what the Western world is doing is wrong, but when you have brought yourself so low to the extent that people you are supposed to be at par with equal,
And look down on me, yeah.
are equal.
Exactly,
Now,
it's
you
the fight for power.
Yeah, you brought yourself so low where another state now determines when you come or what you do
And how you run your
and
system.
How you run your system. You just leave me no doubt whether or not you know what you're doing. It's as simple as that. I can't imagine myself a Nigerian president someday and I'll go receive treatment abroad. I'm going to do it.
I don't go to UK, I'll go to India or London, Germany.
I'm going to do it. If I'm going to die here, so be it. I serve the Nigerian people. I am a public servant. I should use the public facilities.
Because he did not work on improvement on the public facilities. That's why they cannot use them.
No. You can't eat your cake. That's one thing. Have you ever had an American president that he was flown to India to treat?
Because he invested in the health sector, but here we don't.
Invest here and use it. If you're able to invest here, fine. Let us all do it. I mean, I don't want to use the other word. We'll go down with it. Now, a member of House of Rep raised some bill the other day that all public office holders, students, wards rather, the children, should access public schools, public hospitals. And they almost got lynched on the floor of the House.
Because all of their children are abroad.
They were like, why must you say such a thing?
Is that the problem of Nigeria?
And this guy,
I can imagine.
And this guy gave us a very clear analysis. Now look at it. From the procurement process in the Ministry of Works or Budget for National Planning, you have personnel. Then before it gets to the contractor, the approvals are made. Now, if all these personnel involved have their children abroad, what do you expect them to do in that ministry? They are money.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to do nothing.
Exactly.
Because it has no the effectiveness of that ministry has no bearing on them.
At all.
So what are you saying? So we must look at these things. We must just take pause. Now, I've always said something. It is not too late to start. It is never too late to start. The Chinese proverb said, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Another best time is now. What I'm trying to say is this. We've made mistakes in the quality of nation. Mistakes are bound to be made. That's not the problem. But the problem now is, have we appreciated these mistakes? It is when you appreciate that there is a problem.
Then the solutions will be profound.
Taking the right step in the right direction in terms of finding a solution. But we are claiming that there is no problem. We are slipping to it. Let's calm down. Let's take a pause and look at the journey so far. Is this actually where we're going to be? If this is not where we're going to be, there is nothing wrong if we will channel our energy towards where we want to go. If it take us another 5,000 years, so be it. But posterity will record it that they got it wrong at some point.
And they got it right at the same point.
That is the game. Not essentially that you must get it all right. Nobody's saying that. Even me that is talking now, I know if I mind the highest office in the land, you don't expect perfection from me. You don't.
And I don't expect sentiment to overflow your disposition.
You should know me better.
Of course.
I was discussing with my parents, we had a family meeting, my elder would say, if you become governor, what do you need for the family? I said, nothing. You're going to work. If you have certificates to work, I will give you a job. Just like every other Delta.
I'm sure they're not going to vote for you.
No.
That's on a lighter note.
So that's not the big deal. It's not the most that I must win. It's not the most that I must become the governor. It's not the most.
Yeah, it's just an example.
If I win, fine. If I don't win, the big deal.
Life goes on.
Are you sure?
Look, she knows me too well.
Yes. No, your wife knows you better. That way.
Me too well.
God, yes. No, yeah. Your personality, yes.
So I don't believe that. That's another thing with us. We believe that when you go into an election, you must win.
Yeah.
When you go for anything, it is a must. But there's something I always say.
Yes.
and spend no less than 4 decades under the sun. You know what I mean? And there's something I've come to realize. Nothing is a must. And that is the only must in life.
Wow.
That nothing is a must.
It is.
That is the only must you have.
Mm.
When you begin to make everything a must, calm down, you begin to realize soon that
Stressing
you're making
over.
a mistake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody called me that, oh, please, I need this amount of money, I want to get something that is passing by. I don't get it now. I say, probably you don't need to get that. Because if you're counting on me to give you that money, I don't have it. For now, if I had, I would give. But right now, I don't have it. So let that thing go.
Mm.
That's right. We've got to be patient.
Patient. What is yours?
Yeah, just calm down patiently. If you achieve it, fine. If you don't, it will be recorded that you worked towards it.
You made an
That
effort.
is something. People will take something from it. But our mentality here is that even you, if I become the president, I don't amass so much wealth. You will be afraid about it.
Oh.
And that still brings me back to aviation before we wrap up is what are the solutions to this problem? Because the aviation industry now is gradually going down. Yes, it was just there, but now it's going down below expectations. Now this COVID test, harassment from various officers and airports, like I'll call her the immigrations. I know personally she had issues with immigrations. Somebody told her that her passport was fake, and she was like, I got this passport from your office. He said, no, it was fake. You know, these are many more issues we get. Sometimes they set the lounge, the waiting lounge, the airports before you board your flight, the ACs are not working, but the VIP lounge is working in one of the state airports. And we talked about the delayed flight. Sometimes we talk about the conveyor belt to get luggages has been misplaced. Your luggage is taken to another person. Yours has been. It's just like interchange and everything going on. Now there's increment in the ticket, price of the ticket now, and nobody's really saying anything about. Nobody's saying anything virtually.
Before I answer this question on the solutions, I want to remember to what Franz Fanon, one of Africa's famous writers, said. He said, Africans don't like freedom. They don't. This is what they like. They want to take over from the slave master. And he gave a simple analogy. He said, during the slave trade, instead of black African slaves to channel their grievances towards their slave masters, they were channeling it against themselves.
Favoritism.
No.
Yes.
You are killing yourself because of somebody's offense. Now, look at what I'm trying to say. Now, if we want to solve this problem of insecurity, especially in our transportation ministry, we're talking about the aviation, talking about the railway system, talking about the
Yes.
particular ministry has been affected adversely. Now, I think there should be an overhaul, a total overhaul of the personnel of the transportation ministry. Whosoever is not functioning should be laid off.
Irrespective.
Yes, that is just as simple as that. Now, for example, I love football so much that I can't play football. And they want me to play because I love football.
And unfortunately, we did not qualify for World Cup.
We will lose now. So
Competent
get
ones.
the persons that can do it. Let those persons do the job. Then to the our security personnel in terms of the army, navy, they also have a stake in the transportation industry.
Exactly.
In terms of
Security.
Now, the personnel they send there. What are their job description? What are they going to do? Really? Is it a kind of overlapping responsibility they have? Is it not clearly defined? Where the immigration officer will do the job of the air ticketer and the or whatnot? Their job should be properly spelled. I'm not saying not spelled out, but from what we are saying,
It seems
I'm
not
trying
to.
give them
Yeah.
the benefit of that. Probably it is because it is not properly
Spelled.
spelled out. You know what I'm saying? No, it should be spelled out. I can't imagine that I'll buy a ticket from Nigeria, what's it called?
Airline.
Airline. I mean, approved.
Mhm.
Then another ministry, a sister to that one I bought from,
Yeah.
will tell me the ticket I bought from her sister
It's fake.
is fake.
No.
Then I don't think I'm the problem here.
They are the
sisters
problem.
Are the problem. So when I talked about the man at the Home of Affairs not interested in what is going on, when all these things have been going on, ask yourself, have you heard the aviation minister issue a statement? We're still waiting for that.
Or even talk to these airlines and bring the necessary ones to book.
We know that the damage has been done,
Yes.
but how you manage damage,
Matters.
damage control. Now, somebody's flight is delayed. Is it not normal for you to say, please, for reasons, these flights are going to be delayed? Even though you don't tell them after it has been delayed, is it not imperative you tell them we are sorry?
Exactly.
This is how it works. If we can just invite these things, the fact is that, let me go a little bit religious. The Bible says, take away the little foxes. It didn't say take away the big problems.
Okay.
It said take away the little ones. It is those little ones that cause big problems. Just remove these little things.
And
We will save. As simple as that.
Well, thank you
So much for joining us on the show.
Thanks so much for enlightening us and sharing more light, like talking expansively on this bad issue that is happening right now. Right now we have to wrap up. Thank you so much, viewers, for watching. We talked about the bad state of the Nigerian airports, and it's the hope of a lot of Nigerians that we are taking more seriously. We deserve better. We deserve better. Yeah, I don't want to overemphasize the fact that we really deserve better. Safety, everything, transportation, the tickets, everything. We really deserve better.
Exactly.
This is your TV Niger. Thank you so much for watching, and sure you follow us across our social media platforms on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you're here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do so. Leave a thumbs up, and of course, turn on your notifications.